Hi, Cadence.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
All right. Are you on lunch in your truck?
I am.
Awesome. This is great.
Well, and
Good
we'll
stuff.
just we'll just roll in right into the episode, Cadence, unless you have any questions before we get started.
No, I'm all set.
Awesome. Cadence, why don't we start off with tell us who you are and what you do.
All right. I'm Kaydance. I'm from upstate New York. I'm living in South Dakota now, working at a custom truck shop, doing a little bit of everything, painting, custom building, collision work, just a little bit of everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And tell us, so you're a BOCES graduate
Yep, I graduated BOCES in 2023 doing collision.
doing collision.
Yep.
And now that was a part of their high school program, correct?
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about tell us a little bit. Let's start with the program itself. Tell us about the program, your experience with it.
So basically you go there. I had to go all the way to Saratoga for my program because the Glens Falls one didn't have collision. So you'd go there at like 12 o'clock, and in like the beginning of the class when you first started, you do more like stuff in the classroom just to know like the safety things and get all that stuff out of the way before jumping right into the shop. And then once we got to the shop, they would give us like a project to do, like a dent to repair or prepping something, and you do it how the teacher explains to do it, and you get graded on it basically. And then once you finish most of your like projects and stuff, you can bring things in on your own, like projects of your own you can work on.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then so it's 11th and 12th grade you do that. Your senior year, half of that program you go and do an internship somewhere, and you can either, a lot of people that I know I graduated with are still working for those people they internship with. Um, and then you can get even more points for it. Um, you can get a paid internship. It's pretty much just however hard you work basically.
I'd
So
imagine anyone going into a BOCES program is probably going to work pretty hard, right?
yeah.
It wasn't easy, right? I'd
Yeah,
imagine.
no, it's definitely not easy.
So
Um,
growing
but
growing up, Cadence, I got a burning question here. What made you want to go down this path, and what did you always know you wanted to go to school to do this and do automotive restoration work?
Um, Honestly, no. I wanted to work with animals growing up when I was a kid. And then my dad, he was a big part of me making this decision. Growing up, my parents owned a collision shop. So every day after school, I'd go there and just play around basically. And I was just around it. And then once I got older, I was like, working with cars might be more fun. So then I did that, and I got my first vehicle, which was a Bronco, an old Bronco, and I restored it with my dad when I was like 13, 14. So then I realized that this was exactly what I wanted to do, and pretty much stuck with it till now still. So
do
That's
you still have
amazing.
that Bronco?
I
I
was
do.
going to ask that.
I still have the Bronco, and then I just bought another truck too. So now I have two projects,
Nice.
but yeah.
Very cool.
What collision center in Glens Falls?
Like for my internship.
No, for your parents. You said your parents owned one.
Oh, they owned it. It was in Indian Lake. It was a really small little shop.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
the reason they closed it is because there just wasn't that many people up there, and
Sure.
so then we moved to Glens Falls, and they didn't open up another shop. My
Oh,
my
gotcha.
dad
Okay.
is my dad is was still working in the industry. So pretty much my whole life, his whole life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well, go ahead, Derek. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, if you're ever looking to get rid of that Bronco,
Never. I'll probably never get rid of it
Never.
myself.
Don't
I'm
you
just kidding.
dare. Don't you dare. I still listen. I had a Ford F-150 with the extended bed. It was a
hmm
1987. I
hmm
probably had it. It was, I don't know, 15 years ago. It was like
Yeah.
the early 2000s that I had it, and I sold that thing for like $800. And I
hmm
still think about it. I still think about what a
Yeah.
bad decision that was.
That's what everybody says when they sell something, so I'll never
Oh,
sell it.
don't ever
Seller's
sell.
remorse.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm really curious. Kaydance, to hear about, you know, one of the things that we're trying to help people understand is that, you know, there's a lot of push for people to do a 4-year college program, and for different things. And for some of them are, you know, blue collar related and some of them not. Now, did you end up going right into the industry, or did you go off to like HVCC or something along those lines?
So once I graduated in June, I ended up going straight to Wyoming and did a 9-month program at a trade school called Wyotech.
Cool.
And so it's only 9 months, and you can get all your certifications and everything done there. And the reason I did that was because I kind of wanted an excuse to be able to get out of New York, and I felt like that was probably the easiest ways to get out going to school. And then going to that school, after like 7 or 8 months before you graduate, they do a huge job fair, and a whole bunch of companies come in, you do interviews, and a lot of companies offer to fly you out places and stuff to find another job. I ended up not getting a job with any of them because I did my own research and found the shop that I'm working at now. And right after I graduated in September of 2024. Then a week later, I came out to South Dakota and started working, and now been here since.
South Dakota.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Why do we think she was in Colorado? Were you in Colorado?
No, I was not.
I think that might have been me.
I was saying probably with me.
Sorry, Kate. I'm sorry, Kate.
No, it's all right. It's close, I guess.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
what was that experience? You know, and we know Jared, you know, pretty well. We've had him on the show, and you know, it's amazing what they do over at Saratoga, BOCES, and all the BOCES programs in New York. But can you describe, you know, what that experience was like for you going from going through that schooling, you know, with BOCES, and you know, what was that did you feel like you were prepared well enough for the next step?
I had a really good experience, honestly, with BOCES. My instructor, he's very patient, and which was very important, dealing with a ton of kids not knowing what they're doing. But I felt prepared enough to be able to, once I had my internship, I felt prepared enough to go straight to a job instead of going to college or a trade school, but I ended up going to a trade school anyway. But they do, like, the stuff they teach you at BOCES, it's pretty much like the basics you need to know to go into a job. Obviously, you're not going to know everything going into a job. You learn stuff every single day. But I felt very prepared, and I think everything they taught us was pretty great, honestly.
That's awesome.
How much does trade school cost? Can I ask?
I ended up getting quite a bit of scholarships.
Nice.
So it wasn't as much, but I think it ended up being like 20 or 30. So it's definitely not cheap, but the more scholarships you get, it's a lot.
Well, it's not 4 years of college tuition, you know. It's
yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's extremely interesting though, Mike, because you know, a lot of our conversations, Kaydance, and what we're trying to do here on the show is, you know, obviously engage with the youth and you know, pique their interest in the trades and show them the path, and you know, others that have gone down that path. You know, and I think hearing that there's scholarships available for that is huge, and that's one thing and that's one thing that we're trying to do with Blue Collar Startup is, you know, to support some of the local students who need tools. You know, so it's cool that's there for trade school as well. I didn't know that, and
yeah, I didn't either.
We should.
But yeah, there's quite a few. You just got to do your research, pretty much.
You just got to do your research.
Yeah.
I'm curious, and please don't tell us how much money you make, but I'm just wondering what an income range is for someone that goes to BOCES, does a 9-month trade school program, and then goes into the workforce. Like, what can someone expect to earn? Are you in the, you know, the 40 to 50, the 100, the $1 million, like where are you at? Or not you specifically, again, I don't want to ask you personal
Yeah.
question, but
Coming straight out of BOCES, I would say probably like the middle range you could
yeah,
make around.
50 grand a
Um,
year.
yeah, I feel like it really depends on how hard you work and how dedicated you are, honestly.
Yeah.
I've only been at my job for about 3 months now, and I'm already talking about getting raises. Just I feel like it really just depends on how committed and hardworking you are, and how much you show that this is what you're not just here just cause that you actually want to try and make a difference.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
That's
cool.
amazing. That hard work pays off. It really
it
does.
it really does.
Yep. Do you have a goal or a vision of, where you ultimately see yourself, Cadence, and what's your long-term plan?
My long term plan is probably to own a shop, um, my own, doing mainly restoration stuff, because that's just I love doing that, and custom paint work. That's like my favorite. Pinstriping, flames. I love doing that kind of stuff. So that would probably be my long term goal, is to have a shop of my own.
You have flames on your Bronco?
I don't have flames on the Bronco.
That'd be a lot cooler if you did.
I know.
So
I gotta do a paint job on the Bronco actually.
I've always been amazed at the talent that takes to be able to be that precise
Hmm.
and to be able, it amazes me. So if I'm in South Dakota ever, I'll reach out because I'd love to
Okay.
see that process happen.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. It does take a lot of patience, which I personally don't think I have a lot of patience, but once it comes to painting and stuff, I can just sit there and do it, and for as long as I need to.
Cadence, what do you think, as you came through the BOCES program and then into trade school, what do you think the biggest challenge was for you kind of navigating that and making it through those programs?
I think the biggest challenge was hmm, probably any like testing kind of things, because I'm not very good at like quizzes and all that kind of stuff, which we
Mhm.
didn't do that much, but when we did, I struggled with it, even though I knew what was the answer, just explaining it and all that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
and explaining how the process works. I know how to do it, I just can't explain it very well. So that was probably my biggest problem doing trade school and BOCES, but I think that's probably my hardest thing that
Yeah.
I have to do.
The actual like the paper tests, like
Yes,
the
yeah.
multiple choice or whatever. Yeah, yeah. As
Yeah.
opposed to like the practical where you're actually doing things with your hands and
Yeah.
yeah.
That's easy peasy, but as soon as I get a piece of paper and I have to explain it, then I'm gone.
Yeah, you're not alone. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, it's everybody learns differently, and that's why school, it's so like, driven into a small funnel where, you got to pass standardized tests and,
Yeah.
everything else, but everybody learns differently. And just because you don't necessarily get the answer right doesn't mean that you don't know the information. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you touched on that.
What's
Now, go
oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
I was gonna say, what does your schedule look like on like a weekly basis, Cadence? Are you Monday through Friday? How does that work in your
So we're Monday through Friday. We're open from 7 to 5, but I usually end up staying till like 6, because I just like getting extra hours and stuff as much as possible. And then on like the weekends, I usually end up coming in anyway and working on my own stuff. So it's pretty nice that our shop allows us to do that, because all our tools are here. We can use the lifts, we can use anything. So it's pretty nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're getting paid to do the job. You have access to the shop to be
Mhm.
able to start your or do your own projects on the side.
Yep.
That's pretty incredible.
It is pretty.
That doesn't always happen.
Yeah, I know a lot of shops do not like doing that, but so I'm very grateful that I can do that, because I do not have a shop of my own yet, even a garage. So it's nice to be able to do the simple things, oil changes, like in the warmth of a shop and not outside.
Sure.
How cold is it in South Dakota right now, Cadence?
Right now, I woke up and it was about like 20. It's not that cold. It's the coldest it's gotten since I've been here was negative 18, but that was at night, so obviously it's colder, but
Hmm.
it's just it's very windy out here.
Very windy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's funny because I'm thinking Dakotas, but I guess North Dakota is obviously going to be like the Fargo, like frozen.
Yeah, North Dakota is a lot colder. So,
That
yeah.
heated shop must be nice regardless.
Yeah, it is definitely nice.
So, as people are listening, and I know that you're kind enough to jump with us here on your lunch break, and we don't want to keep you for the whole thing, but
By the way, you are the first recent graduate that we've had on the show. So
Oh,
uh,
wow.
yeah, thank you very much for
Yeah.
taking the time to do this, and it's really exciting on our end, and I think it's going to do a lot to inspire some of the younger folks that are currently going through what you did.
Yeah, I hope so.
yeah, seeing what the different paths are and the different tracks that you can go down, and not necessarily a standard 4-year college education, which again, nothing wrong with that, but there's
Mhm.
other ways to attack it, right? Whether it's going to
Yeah.
BOCES and then going right into the workforce, or doing a trade school. If you were going to give someone listening, one piece of advice on how to either navigate that stuff or just be successful at it, like what would it be?
Um, Probably just to I know it's everyone hears it, but just don't give up because like there's a lot of times that in BOCES and when I went to Wild Tech, even now that something happens and it's just like, oh, it kind of sucks, and you're just like, I don't want to give up, but I'm glad that I haven't because the hard work does pay off. And if I did give up, I don't know what I would be doing and would not have as much of a I feel like I would be in a different place if I did give up. So I'm glad
Yeah.
that I didn't and I kept moving. It's gonna be hard, and I know it's gonna continue to be hard because every day, but it's definitely worth keep going. So
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it. Are
yeah,
you on Instagram?
I am. Yes.
You got to send us. I'll email you our Instagram handle, but you got to send us a picture of your Bronco so we can see what that thing looks like.
Okay, I will.
Absolutely.
I want to see that.
Yeah,
So,
I will.
Derek, I know we're not trying to keep her on for the full hour here, but any other questions I'm forgetting or missing here, Derek?
The only other one that I have, and since you went to school during the pandemic, you
Mhm.
know, what you talk about not giving up. What was that like? I mean, because yeah, I think about that all the time, and all of
Mhm.
the you know young folks who had to go to school through that and work through all the obstacles. So, can you describe what that was like?
I was at BOCES during the pandemic, so I felt like there was a lot more kids there that did not want to be there and were only there to get out of regular school during the pandemic. So there was a lot more people that didn't care as much as the others. Obviously the whole mask thing was very annoying, but so that was frustrating. And then working in the shop, there was a lot more things that you had to keep in mind. Like you couldn't be too close to people and you had to clean a lot more of your area and stuff. Um, so it was very different. And then now with there not being any of a pandemic, and that was kind of what I was learning in, it's a lot different than how it was. So there's a lot more to do now as well because a lot of people are out more. So that also has some effect on it.
Makes sense. Well, you made it. You got
Yeah.
through.
Hate it. You
Yeah,
made it.
I did.
That's awesome. Well, Cadence, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah. Thank
Uh,
you for having me.
Absolutely appreciate it. Appreciate
Yeah,
your
thank you.
time, and hopefully it'll be some good information here for our listeners, and I'm
Yeah.
sure for that matter. But
Yeah, and if you ever, feel free to take a look. I'm sure you already did, Cadence, but take a look at the website if there's anybody that we can connect you to help you out, with your career, and any folks that we've had on the show. But there's a lot of good information in there, and we'll let you know when your episode is up as well.
All
And
right. Perfect.
you can share that out on your social media, and
Mhm.
be proud of what you accomplished. Nice
Okay.
job.
Perfect.
Awesome. And thanks everybody for listening. And thank you to all the people that helped this program. Thank you to the Michaels Group. Thank you to MLB Construction. Thank you to everyone. Thanks to the listeners.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next time. Thanks, Derek.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kaydance.
Thank you.
Thanks, Appreciate it.